Hey, haha, my name is, well, I probably shouldn't say that. But if you've been on the internet recently, you might have seen that viral video of a hellcat swapped Chrysler 300 running from Georgia State Patrol in Atlanta. Yeah, that was me. And before y'all start going crazy in the comments, let me just say this right now. Nobody got hurt. No crashes. No innocent people involved. None of that. But what y'all saw in that clip was only a tiny piece of what actually happened that night. What you didn't see was how it started, why I even ran in the first place, or how close I actually came to getting caught. Because when that trooper hit his lights, I thought I was just about to get a speeding ticket. But about 5 minutes later, I had two Georgia State Patrol cruisers chasing my hellcat Chrysler through Atlanta at full speed. And the craziest part is, that whole chase almost ended way sooner than people think. So yeah, since the video already went viral anyway, I might as well tell the full story. Because trust me, that night got a lot crazier than what y'all saw online. If you've never been in Atlanta late at night, you probably wouldn't understand how this whole thing started. Because Atlanta after midnight is a whole different world. The highways open up, the city still alive, and everybody with something fast ends up on the same roads. And that night, I was in my Chrysler 300. Now, to anybody else on the road, it just looked like a regular Chrysler, but what they didn't know was that under the hood, that thing had a hellcat motor in it, supercharged, loud as hell. The kind of car where the second you touch the gas, that supercharger starts whining, and everybody around you already knows something serious is under there, so I'm just cruising on the interstate, moving with traffic. And on my left, there's a Challenger. On my right, there's a Charger. Everybody moving quick. The kind of speed where traffic just becomes a blur of headlights. Now, I ain't gonna lie. It definitely looked like a little racing was going on, nothing crazy. Just a couple fast cars stretching their legs. And then, out of nowhere, I see headlights swing across the median. And the second those red and blue lights popped on, my stomach dropped. Georgia State Patrol. And if you know anything about GSP, you already know them boys do not play. Soon as I saw that, I literally said out loud, "Oh shit." Immediately, I lifted off the gas because in my head, I'm thinking maybe if I slow down right now, maybe they'll grab somebody else. Maybe I can just blend back into traffic and keep moving. But nah. That trooper had already locked onto me. I could see him coming up behind me in the mirror. Lights flashing. Closing distance quick. And right there in that moment, I had two choices. Pull over or try something stupid. So I slowed down, like I was about to stop. We're getting close to the MLK exit, and I start easing the Chrysler over toward the shoulder. The trooper pulls in right behind me, lights flashing bright as hell. The whole highway lighting up red and blue. For a second, everything felt calm. I'm sitting there thinking, man, welcome to Atlanta. And then I see the trooper start opening his door. And something in my brain just said, nah, we're not doing this tonight. The second his door cracked open, I slammed the gas. The Chrysler jumped forward instantly. That hellcat motor screamed. The supercharger whining loud as hell. And the car just launched down the highway. Behind me, I see the trooper jump back into his car, sirens going crazy. And just like that, the chase started. Within seconds, another unit joined in. One of them was a Charger, and the other one was a Challenger. So now it's two Georgia State Patrol cars chasing one Chrysler 300. But here's the thing they didn't realize yet, that Chrysler wasn't normal. Most people see a 300 and think it's just a regular sedan, but this one had a hellcat swap. So when I stepped on the gas, that car moved. Every time I touched the throttle, the supercharger screamed, and the car just kept pulling harder and harder. I'm weaving through traffic, trying to create distance. And every time I look in the mirror, those lights still there, the troopers weaving through traffic too, trying to stay on me. At one point, traffic got tight as hell. Cars in every lane, barely any space to move. And I remember seeing this tiny little gap between two cars. I'm talking about barely enough room. And for a split second I thought, there's no way this works. But I went for it anyway. I squeezed the Chrysler through that gap and shot out the other side. Behind me, I could hear tires squealing and sirens echoing through the traffic. For a moment, I thought I might have lost them right there. But nah. One of the troopers was still on me, and that's when something clicked in my head. If I stayed on the interstate, eventually they'd catch up, because the highway is their territory. State Patrol lives on the highway, so I made a decision. I got off the interstate. The second I took that exit, everything changed. Now, it wasn't long open lanes anymore. Now, it was city streets. Tight roads, intersections, neighborhood blocks, Atlanta roads. And that's where things started shifting in my favor, because I knew these streets way better than they did. So I start cutting through back roads, making quick turns, trying to create distance. Behind me, I still see the lights bouncing through the streets. They still in the chase. I take another turn, then another. Then another. And for a moment, I can't even see them anymore. But I know they're still somewhere behind me. Eventually, I hear sirens again, somewhere in the distance. So I keep pushing deeper into the Cascade area. Now, the roads start getting more complicated. Forks, side streets, little cut-throughs everywhere. And that's when the moment happened that changed everything. And then, I killed the lights on the car. The Chrysler was still rumbling loud, but in the darkness, it just blended into the neighborhood. No sirens, no lights, nothing. For the first time since the chase started, everything went quiet. I slowed the car down and just started driving normal through the neighborhood, like nothing had happened. Just me, and that hellcat motor rumbling under the hood. They lost me, completely. But the crazy part is, even though they lost the car, one of the troopers managed to catch something during the chase, my license plate, which meant eventually they figured out what that car really was. Later on, I heard them talking about it. They were saying, that wasn't a 5.7. That wasn't even a regular 6.4. That had to be a hellcat. And they were right. That Chrysler had a hellcat motor in it. And that's exactly why the car was moving the way it was. It had just enough power. Just enough speed to create the distance I needed and disappear into the streets of Atlanta. Nobody got hurt, no accidents, no property damage, just one wild night. One hellcat swapped Chrysler 300, and Georgia State Patrol wondering where the hell that car went.